We interrupt the Hollywood Squares for this breaking news from DCR TV for the 2nd of March, 2011. Apparently, we're hearing that there's a big meeting at WMAL today to discuss the future of Fred Grandy. Fred Grandy is the morning guy. He used to be on the Love Boat. He used to be a congressman from Iowa. Now he's been doing the morning show on WMAL for many years. Apparently, he wants off the station. He wants to go off with his wife, Fred, and to do a show, Mrs. Fred, and do a show on the QVC network or something. I mean, they're selling prayer carpets or something. I don't know, prayer rugs. Anyhow, so Fred gets on the air today and says that he's having some kind of a dispute with management over his comments about radical Islam, which leads to this big meeting we're hearing about. So it looks like maybe Fred wants off the station, and some of my sources say he does. He wants out of his contract, and he wants to be off on his merry way and the Love Boat, sail off into his future in April or May. So the deal is, what happens to WMAL? So anyhow, we have to say to Mr. Fred, there he is there. Whoops. There he is there in his happier Love Boat days. Whoops. Whoops. Where is Fred? So basically I say goodbye to Fred. You know, it's been a good run. You were good with Andy Parks, but off on your own pretty much with Brian Neiman, it's just not been that great, and it's time to move on. So who replaces Fred? Well, there's the future of WMAL mornings, Mr. Major Garrett. He's been doing some guest hosting on the station for a while now, and I think he would be the perfect morning host for WMAL. So I would put Major Garrett, who's used to be working with Fox News. I think he's now with The Nation. So anyhow, put Major Garrett on in mornings, and then what do you do for afternoons? Get rid of Sean Hannity. Put on Brian Wilson. You know, Brian Wilson's also a former. Whoops, I'm sorry, it's the wrong. This Brian Wilson, got the wrong one out there. Sorry about that. This Brian Wilson, have him do the afternoon show on WMAL. So you could have Garrett in the morning, Brian Wilson in the afternoons. Keep Rush in middays. Oh my God, I heard of he come back up here. And you say goodbye to old Sean Hannity, or at least you put him on tape delay, maybe in the late evenings or something like that. So that's what I would do. I would keep Mark Levin. He's a local guy. He does a show from Loudoun County or someplace out there, and he's a damn good-looking guy too. I mean, he's for whatever age he is, the bald beard, I think he deserves to stay on WMAL. And I'd also restore George Norrie, the Coast to Coast AM show late at night. I'd keep that on from 1 to 5. You know, the WMAL currently cuts it off at 3 o'clock for that midnight effing show, which is terrible. So anyhow, that's what I would do. I would say Major Garrett in the mornings, Brian Wilson in the afternoons, 2 local drive shows, local-based shows. I would keep Rush on in middays. Chris Plant, I would give him, nobody listens to him anyhow. If you want to keep him on late mornings, I don't really give a rat's ass about that. And then I would keep Mark Levin on in the evenings. Maybe run Sean Hannity tape delayed late evenings, and then put George Norrie on in the overnights, and keep the whole full George Norrie show. Bolster the news department. And the other big thing is I would move the station to 105.9. I don't know. It really needs an FM signal. I love the personalities on 105.9. I love Mike O'Meara, and I love Surf, and I like Kirk McEwen. Maybe they can be worked into WMAL somehow. I don't know, but we'll put them on RQX. Maybe mix them in and put them into the mix. But I really think MAL needs an FM signal. Anyhow, that's that. So I am now going to head off to put on my Speedo here, and I'm going to head off to the Princeton swimming pool and do a few laps. And that is the DCR TV breaking news for today. We now return you to the Hollywood Squares if you're watching NBC, or to reruns of Family Affair if you're watching CBS. Good day.